Welcome to the CTA Foundation CES interview series. My name is Steve Ewell, and I'm Executive Director of the Consumer Technology Association Foundation. And I'm really pleased to be joined today by Diana McFail, the President and CEO of the NextFifty initiative. Welcome, Diana, to CES 2021. So happy to have you here.
Thank you so much, Steve. I'm excited to be here as well.
Well, I've always really been interested and thrilled in the way that the NextFifty initiative kind of broke the foundation mold and didn't just call itself, whichever foundation, but use that word initiative. Can you tell us how that word initiative really reflects in the work that you're doing?
Certainly. You know, Steve, it was really intentional during our creation. That NextFifty initiative didn't want to be just another foundation. And we wanted to be different and support different projects and causes that help to create vibrancy as the expectation of life after 50. Recognizing that there's a huge demographic shift going on and the lack of resources and supports to meet the needs of the growing older population, we seek to fund projects and ideas that are really going to have a lasting impact and change on the experience of aging. We just celebrated our 3rd anniversary of grant making, so we're still a younger organization, but we're on a continual quest to support those game-changing ideas and also be intentional and innovative in how we listen to the communities and populations we serve and what their needs are, and then translate that into collaborations and partnerships that can meet those needs. So we really want to be proactive and move the needle on aging.
Well, that's great. And it really is so important and so needed because, as you know, and we know, there's just not that many foundations in this space that focus on the aging market and the opportunities to really, not treat aging as a negative story, but really the positive and embrace the opportunities that come with aging. With that, we've kind of touched on one of your major focus in that space, but I'd love to hear a little bit more about why you are focused in on the aging issues, as well as why it's such an important issue for us to all address.
Of course, and Steve, one of my favorite quotes was said by Eleanor Roosevelt, and it states, "Today is the oldest you've ever been and the youngest you'll ever be again." It sums it up so perfectly that we're all aging every day. And aging is one of the few universal truths that we'll all experience. NextFifty initiative exists to improve the quality of life for those over the age of 50. And because folks are now living longer, healthier lives, we know that there's a broad spectrum of needs. 50 is different than 60, which is different than 70, which is different than 80, and so on and so forth. But with these differing needs comes the great opportunity and potential for creating solutions to support the needs of the 50+ population, regardless of where they may be on the needs spectrum. Ultimately, NextFifty initiative wants to keep older adults engaged, connected, and vibrant. We fund in a wide variety of arenas, providing solutions that improve the aging experience. There is such a huge monumental demographic shift occurring, and there is so much opportunity to get the services and supports and technologies funded and in place now to meet the needs of this growing demographic, and thus be able to support a very happy, healthy, connected, and engaged second part of life. NextFifty initiative wants to be a part of the solution, and we want to partner with organizations who are excited about that and want to join us on that mission. If we're all lucky, we're all going to continue to age. So let's get the solutions in place that we can all benefit from as we continue to get older.
Well, that's amazing. And, how can foundations like ours, really work together to help drive forward innovation and, bring together the partnerships that can create all the great work that you're doing?
Oh, certainly. One of the discussions that we have routinely at NextFifty initiative is how we see innovation taking so many different forms across the projects and organizations we fund. For some organizations, innovation is a new partnership or method of service delivery. For others, it is tech-based. As a foundation, we, being NextFifty initiative and our fellow funders, we really have the ability to recalibrate our thinking. And instead of always playing it safe with what we fund and going for projects that may not have as much risk associated, take more risk in the projects that we support and encourage that experimentation and those new ideas and projects that, even though they may not always be a success, when they are, they could really be a big game changer. So by being clear in our funding to our funding partners, and that we're willing to take these risks, we can help set the stage that it's encouraged to think outside the box to find new solutions, and encourage organizations to take that next step, try something new, try something different, and also encourage our partners and our other funders to do the same.
And when you're doing that, what role does technology play in the work of the programs that you're supporting and funding? How does that really play a role?
Yes, technology, as we know, is a great tool to advance the work of the organizations that we're funding. And especially in this time of COVID, we've seen the importance of technology amplified. But because of the reliance on this technology during the time of COVID, we've been exposed to an even greater digital divide than we originally knew. We've seen organizations pivot their projects to virtual programming, as well as greater adaptation of telehealth. But with these pivots, it's become clear that affordability and accessibility of technology is something that is a barrier for many. And there's great opportunity to engage the end users in development to ensure the accessibility, functionality, and inclusivity in the platforms and technologies. This is an area that I would really encourage creators and developers to focus on. Involve the end users in development. What works for them? What do they need? What do they want? What don't they want? These insights help to ensure that the products created will actually be purchased and utilized and not just sit on a shelf, and that the time and effort and resources put in by developers is worth it. There are a lot of products and technologies that just end up sitting on a shelf because they don't have the accessibility or they aren't practical for the end user. And that situation can be eliminated by involving them from the beginning. Through some of our grantees, we've seen greater implementation of technology, but then we've also heard of some of the issues that this has created.
I think there's such opportunity through that engagement, through the co-design, making sure that older adults and with our work also people with disabilities are engaged in the process of designing the products that are coming out. It'll make products that work for more people, and better products. And I'll say from a foundation perspective, our job's not to sell products to people, but it's really to help make sure the products that are designed are going to work for as many people as possible. And it's those engagements that can really drive that forward. So I thank you for all the great work that the NextFifty initiative is doing as far as helping bring together some of those innovators, entrepreneurs on both sides of the table, the innovators and entrepreneurs in the aging space, as well as the ones in the technology space. It's such an important opportunity. And talking about bringing people together, here we are at CES 2021, all digital this time, and we're excited to have the conversations here in a digital format. But it's an opportunity where we're going to be seeing so many new technologies announced this week. We're also going to be having a lot of conversations behind the scenes of what are the technologies that are coming over the next few years. Are there particular areas of technology that you have a particular interest in?
Steve, this is my first CES experience, and as it is virtual, it is a little different than the experience that others may have had previously, but I've only heard amazing things about CES. So I'm really looking forward to the opportunity to see what others have mentioned and experience it for myself. But as far as technologies go, I'm excited about technologies that have applicability to aging, whether that's overtly or not. So many technologies are designed for one purpose, but can actually end up being multifunctional. So I'm excited to see the products that have been designed with one intent, but then can cross over and have relevance to aging. There's a huge market out there for technologies, as you know, that will enhance the aging experience, even if the aging population wasn't the initial demographic. So how can we encourage creators and developers to think about that and think about the cross functionality?
Absolutely. I think there's some amazing opportunities for technologies that are really meant for the broader general population to be particularly important for older adults, and but also not have the stigma of being a device designed purely for older adults. It's really the same device that all of us might be using in different ways. So I think there's some real opportunities in that space. Do you see?
And why does there have to be that stigma for aging? It's something we're all doing. It's something to be embraced and celebrated. It's got a great market. It's going to benefit us all. So let's get more devices out there that are going to support it.
Absolutely. I completely agree with that. Do you see an area within within the marketplace that's maybe being overlooked right now, a gap for some entrepreneur that's watching this right now? They might see an area that they might look to create a solution for?
If I had my magic wand, I would solve social isolation. That is such a huge issue that has a broad impact on older adults and others as well. But the detriment of social isolation is so great. I would love to solve that. And I don't know what that is. Technology obviously would play a role and has been playing a role in trying to bridge those divides. But I would encourage entrepreneurs to be thinking about technologies that can really solve the issue and has that accessibility and usability and user interface so that it is solving the needs of older adults.
That is, I feel like you read my mind there, because that is such an important issue. And I'll just pitch. We are going to have a session during CES called Tech Combating Isolation. So we're going to have a number of people from both the disability community as well as aging talking about different technologies using this. It's certainly not solving the issue at this point. It's really a high-level overview, but I do think that there's amazing opportunities. And I think that's where it's important for us to bring together leaders in philanthropy such as yourself, leaders in industry, leaders in nonprofit service communities and others, to really have these discussions, bring diverse backgrounds to the table, and create the products that are really going to change the way that we all age moving forward. So I think there's just some amazing opportunities in this space.
Without a doubt. And I'm super excited for that session now. Thank you.
Great. Well, I look forward to seeing you there. If people are interested in learning a little bit more about the work of the NextFifty initiative, where should they go to get that information?
Well, we encourage them to visit our website at www.next50initiative.org. And that's 50 with a 50.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Diana. It's always a pleasure to talk to you. And I'm pleased to have you here at CES 2021. I look forward to getting together with you in Las Vegas for CES 2022 and just continuing to find ways that we can all work together to make a difference in the way that all of us are living independently and aging independently. So thank you again so much for joining us today.
Thank you for the opportunity, Steve. It's been a pleasure.
Absolutely. And for the audience, if you're interested in learning more about the CTA Foundation, you can go to ctafoundation.tech. Thank you so much and have a wonderful CES 2021.